just to recap, a couple weeks back, we came in on my complaint, and normally what happens in Newark Municipal Court is you swear out a complaint at a window downstairs, and the administrator there can determine probable cause on the spot. Because of the nature of the charge, because of the defendants involved, they decided to send it up here for a hearing. We had a hearing, and Mr. Samson sent a law firm to represent him, and they're raising all manner of argument that are inappropriate at this point in the proceedings. They're trying to get this case dismissed before it's even been filed, and that's inappropriate. Where there's two systems of justice. One system of justice where a regular citizen can have probable cause determined by a clerk at a window, and another system of justice where a real wealthy, powerful, former Attorney General, former Chairman of the Port Authority can have 3 days of hearings stretched out over a month dealing with complicated and convoluted legal arguments.
I think an easier analogy for the general public is it's like telling an officer that he's not allowed to arrest somebody, because isn't that also determining probable cause on the spot? And that you don't bring a lawyer in to tell a cop you can't even arrest him before the trial.
You're exactly right. If a police officer witnesses a crime in the street, he makes an arrest, he finds probable cause before the arrest, and he makes the arrest right there. Yes, Judge Adamas has never seen a defendant as wealthy and powerful as David Samson in this courtroom. The second thing that they're trying to say is that I have no standing as a citizen to bring a complaint against something that I lack personal knowledge about. And this judge here is put in a position, he signed up to be a judge, he's put in a position where he's going to have to do what's right despite enormous pressure being placed upon him to do something other than what's right. And we'll see what he's made of, but I've got faith.
Why is it that counsel sought to be heard in this case? It's because when Mr. Brennan went to room 207, he let the world know, and you allowed in his courtroom a camera that he put on the internet disclosing that he, as a citizen, decided to be a private prosecutor against my client. Your Honor's right, this is unusual. It's highly unusual. It's highly irregular. And it starts with what Mr. Brennan's motives are and whether he wants to manipulate room 207 or he wants to manipulate this process towards an end to achieve a personal advantage, whatever that might be.
Should go through
So where I'm confused, Your Honor, is I haven't completed my argument, Your Honor.
Please.
He's repeating his argument over and
Mr.
over.
Brennan,
Your
Mr.
Honor,
Brennan,
would you
Mr.
admonish
Brennan.
Mr. Brennan to allow me to complete my argument?
And Mr. Brennan's been paid. I'm going to give you the time, Mr. Brennan. And again, it's kind of courteous on both ends because Mr. Brennan, although you're a skilled advocate, you're a complaining witness. You're not here as an attorney or prosecutor at this particular time. And you make arguments, very, very solid arguments, and again, you're doing very well for yourself.
All right, so Mr. Genova thinks that what I'm doing is somehow besmirching the fine reputation of his bribe-taking, extortionist client who intentionally used the power and authority that was vested in him and entrusted in him to get himself a special flight from here to Columbia, South Carolina. And somehow I'm the guy that's screwing up his client's reputation. And that's what's wrong with Jersey, period. So he can moan and cry and whine about the cameras being here. But you know what? The light of day is a strong disinfectant for corruption, and that's what I'm doing here. It's concerned. I did this in 1997. I brought a criminal complaint against the mayor of Passaic, New Jersey, and Judge Wolf Semay of the Passaic Municipal Court refused to take my complaint, claiming I had standing. I brought that judge to the Advisory Committee on Judicial Conduct, and they drafted a presentment against him, and they removed him from the bench, in part because of the complaint that I made against Judge Semay. So the idea that I don't have standing got Wolf Semay in trouble when he said I had no standing. Now this man wants to focus on the last two charges I brought, but he knows full well that I've brought criminal complaints as a citizen over the past 3 decades. In the 90s I've done it, in the 2000s I've done it, in the 2016s I've done it. So the idea that suddenly, because I'm running for governor, his client can attack my motive in being a citizen and performing my civic duty is absurd, especially when he went before Judge McGeady with a backdated piece of evidence.
Objection, Your Honor.
You can
I object. Your Honor, this is no.
There's nothing for the objection. You made me sit down. I haven't said anything.
There's no basis for those statements, and I object to them, Your Honor.
Why don't you sue me?
Whoa. Stop.
He cast aspersions about my motive, and I'm stating as a matter of fact and law. I have a copy of his deposition transcript. I have a deposition transcript.
This is beyond the pale.
You know what?
Your Honor, this is beyond the pale. He's making personal attacks. I'm here to
He's
argue a
interrupting me.
case.
I sat down.
I'm here to argue a case. I'm not here.
Okay. What's that? You good? So, Mr. Genova, give the gentleman an opportunity to be heard. And Mr. Brennan, your courtesy is going to be pulled. I have a question for you. I have a few questions for you. I have a few questions for you as well.
Well,
But
I
the
just
thing
want
is,
to put on the
I'm
record.
Listen. Just like I did with him. I'm listening, right? The closer an individual is to the actual offense, gives some comfort, if you will. But I have concern that you're so far away from the actions and activities to consider, that you in fact have standing. So I want you to go ahead and tell me. That's holding me up.
I am personally aggrieved by what Mr. Samson did. I am personally offended by it. I have a deep and abiding belief in the rule of law. I have a deep and abiding belief that public officials must not engage in official misconduct. I find it an affront to any notion of fair and impartial administrative justice. I want my kids to grow up in a country where the fact that their dad's not rich doesn't put them behind the eight ball, behind Samson's kids and grandchildren, who can do whatever they want and never see a day in jail. That would be like I walked by and I saw a rape going on, and I chose to do nothing because I had no standing to help the rape victim. Guess what? I stand up. Some people in this world are not stand-up guys. Some people in this world don't get involved. I choose to get involved, and that used to be an admirable quality in America. We are losing our freedoms in this country, and this is near and dear to me. We are losing faith in the fair and impartial administration of justice. This would be the first time in the history of the state of New Jersey that standing was used to preclude a valid complaint.
And the idea that he's twice suggested that a judge that made a call like that was subjected to discipline, I find is offensive not only to the bar, but offensive to the judiciary, and I want to go on the record of saying that.
Okay. At the end of the day, I leave here knowing that I've done my best on every occasion. And so if for any reason I make a decision that causes either you or anybody in public on this occasion or some other matter to file anything against me, and so be it. And if my superiors determine that I'm not worthy to sit in this position, or that I'm suspended from practice, whatever the case may be, I'm willing to accept that consequence. So, Mr. Brennan, you may not practice law, but certainly, if you ever had an opportunity to be an advocate, you would be a great advocate.
Thank you.
Great advocate. And so, but nonetheless, I still have an issue with standing. Now, other judges may not. Other judges may not read that into the rule, but certainly I do. And so my position has been so far removed, and counsel can make certain arguments, about you and talk about your intent and what have you, and I don't look at any of those things. I simply look at what I would look at for any other person in this position. And so in this instance, I'm going to determine that there's no probable cause against me. Mr. Brennan can walk away if he wishes. I've been more than respectful to him, but he a ruling that is against his desires, and instead of accepting that ruling, has simply gotten up and left. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, may I have a request that I be accompanied by a sheriff's officer or police officer
Sure.
as I leave the building?
Yeah, the judge didn't do his job. He simply decided something that wasn't before him. He went outside the rules of court, and he created a rule that, in essence, blocks citizens from ever bringing a complaint against a public official unless they were personally involved in the transaction or the crime that's being alleged. No matter how much evidence, no matter how strong a case, he took away the right of citizens to use the citizens' complaint mechanism in the rules of court. for the purpose of prosecuting public officials. And this judge did something incredibly corrupt.
Corrupt.
Corrupt, yes. What he did was corrupt. He went outside the rules of court, created a rule to protect a powerful defendant. For him to say that means he either is stupid, and I don't think that's the case, or he's corrupt, and I do think that's the case. I've been bringing citizens' complaints for over 20 years. This is the first time in the history of any of my complaints that this has ever been upheld by a judge standing. When he started telling me what a great attorney I am and what a great job I did, I knew he was ready to drop the hammer. In fact, I wrote it down. Here comes the hammer. I wrote it down because I knew once he started kissing my ass like that and blowing smoke up my ass like I'm some sort of great lawyer, that he had an ulterior motive, and that was he wanted to soften the blow. He just stripped the rights of citizens to hold public officials accountable out of the city of Newark. The residents of the city of Newark now have no opportunity to hold a public official accountable under this man's analysis. Even a municipal court judge named Adames could understand it if he tried. He read into it on purpose. Somebody got to this judge. There's no other explanation. Somebody got to this man. No other explanation. He talked about how the process is usually very simple. It happens in 5 minutes. He gave this defendant the opportunity to have 4 days of hearings with an attorney present and hours of argument over what? The only one in that courtroom that wasn't paid to be there today was me. Genova got paid, the judge got paid, everybody got paid to be there, and they all did something illegal today. They took away the right of citizens to hold public officials accountable, and it is outrageous. He sat on that bench and he excoriated himself, and he besmirched his own reputation with that convoluted and screwed up nonsense of a decision that somehow a citizen's complaint needs some sort of special standing. It's outrageous. I am so angry I can't contain myself. David Samson is a goddamn criminal. He's not going to serve a day in jail while people with 3 ounces of marijuana are serving time in jail. This is not America anymore. We are no longer a free society. I'm going to use all resources available, and I'm going to charge David Samson in forms that don't include this backward-ass judge. I'm going to file a complaint with the Advisory Committee on Judicial Conduct, and I'm going to file what's called an action in lieu of prerogative writ and mandate that this judge hear this case on its merits and not sidestep the issue with respect to some sort of convoluted logic that a citizen can't file a citizen's complaint.
Okay, so that's with the judge. Anything else with Samson?
Oh, I got a lot in store for Samson. Samson committed crimes all over New Jersey. He's not going to get as lucky as he did with the Newark Municipal Court. Thanks, Citizens Media TV, for being an important.
Thank you.